This week on Xenomania, join us as we travel down under. Sun, sand, surfing, sharks, and one mean serial killer await. We'll explore a powerhouse acting performance from Jay Courtney, effective body disposal, thumb chewing, and are shark movies and slashers directly related? Plus, did either of my co-hosts flash Jaws? No way. Right? 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 Stay tuned and find out. This is Dangerous Animals. This is Xenomania.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Hundred men went into the water. 316 men came out. The shark took the rest. June 29th, 1945. I just want to know the song, because I want to sing the song, but
So
I can't
we
remember the
told
song.
him he wasn't
Well,
allowed to
maybe
do it in an imitation of Quint's voice because, believe it or not, that was worse than what just happened. But he decided to do it like a poetry slam, which makes it even better.
I heard the snapping in the background.
Yeah.
Just guess the movie.
It was like Mike Myers and I Married an Axe Murderer.
Marion.
Sharks in the water. What's up, everybody? It's Xenomania. And if you hadn't guessed, we're doing something having to do with fishies this week.
Yeah. We're not doing Jaws. It's not Jaws yet. That's coming up.
Can't wait to do Jaws. But we're not going to talk about that anymore because it does a disservice to this fine film that we're going to talk about tonight,
Yes,
which
sir.
is
Yes,
This week is
Dangerous Animals.
Dangerous Animals.
Sorry. I'm excited for this because this was a IFC gem, as I like to call it. A lot of IFC movies, I feel like, go under the radar, and now they're getting the recognition more. Like the remake of Maniac, Midnight Meat Train, all IFC movies that are finally getting the spotlight that they deserved. And this is one of them. And this is more recent, which is cool because it's got that vibe of like that early 2000s, mid 2000s, like feel. I was thinking like Wolf Creek, especially when I was watching this.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
I could see the connection there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a few. They're very similar villains. They're both Australian.
Bastards.
Yeah.
A
I got
lot
family
of them.
from Australia, sir.
One of my favorite podcasts that I've ever done, besides ours, of course, is with a bunch of Australian guys. Stories, the true and the fictional, baby. Little plug for them if you guys want to listen to that. That is a great show. So back to the Australian guys.
I'll say Australians are fun. I'll just say
Yeah.
that. Having family from Australia, they are wild, and they're wild.
It's frontier
It's a good
living
time.
out there. When people think of the Wild
Yes.
West and what made America like so appealing way back for that vibe, that adventure vibe, Australia's still got a good amount of that. in that
Yeah.
content.
I mean, everything in that country wants to kill you.
Yeah. The country
Not the
itself wants
dingoes.
to kill you.
The dingo.
Especially the dingoes, bro.
A dingo ain't my baby, man.
I have a close heart with the dingoes.
Naomi
since
Watts was full of
elementary
shit
school.
personally, but if you get that joke, we can be friends. But yeah, so by the way, just an aside before we move on, I watched Wolf Creek in a La Quinta Inn in Batavia, New York. I think I got it from like the dollar bin in Walmart or whatever it was, a $5 bin in Walmart. And that was like part of my only entertainment for that weekend. And I was very impressed. I also saw The Hills Have Eyes in that same weekend. And that was another, I liked Wolf Creek better. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolf Creek's got a good pace, good villain, and it's just like Dangerous Animals, right? You get the opening, benevolent villain.
Malevolent.
He was benevolent. I
He
was
was
talking to John about this. In the
Mm.
beginning, he's very benevolent. He's very like welcoming, open,
He's-
really normal. Like
He's
I see
welcoming
what-
in a
Yes.
sort of sinister way, though, because you're never
yes,
at peace with that character. Even in the beginning when he's talking to Greg and Heather and he's taking them out on the tour, he's like everything he said and says has that tinge of evil undertones. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. You're gonna die with the shark. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Like that, those kinds of
Yeah.
lines. And he's always like right on that edge of, boy, is he making jokes or is he a creep?
I feel like that's Jay Courtney though, because he's just like first off, Jay Courtney, Captain Boomerang in the Squad, both like
Can't say the S
that
word.
one.
The,
Gotta
Okay,
self-monitor, brother.
Hold on.
how do you say
hold
the
on,
name of
wait a
that
minute.
movie?
And the
No, no, I
self-lofting
got
squad.
no, I got a better
That
one.
sounds like
so-
the adult version.
Yeah, it might be.
So Jay
Cinemax.
Courtney, Skinamax, Task Force X. We'll go for the original comic book name. In both of those movies, you can see his acting prowess really come out. He's done other roles, but it's just his facial expressions, which, like, even though he's benevolent or seemingly benevolent, you can see the craziness in his eyes pop
Mhm.
out of his head and just his motions. It's very jittery. It's very antagonistic,
I think
and it's not.
finish it because I'm going back to.
I was gonna say it's not hidden. Like how his acting is, he's not hiding the fact that he's a bad guy. He's very open, and it starts even how he treats his the guy who's running the boatyard.
Yeah.
How he treats him, how he treats the dog, his interactions with the first two tourists. Like you just see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my favorite Jay Courtney role before this that I didn't remember was him is he's John McClane's son in A Good Day to Die Hard.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Cool. That is a great callback right there. Does he
God,
know
that
what's going
movie,
on with his dad?
He's on
He's
vacation.
not good right now.
No, it's not good.
No wonder he's so mad.
But like
Ugh,
he
poor
snuck
kid.
into a bunch of franchises. Like he got in the DC universe, he got in the Die Hard world.
Yep.
He was in one of the really bad late Terminator sequels. He was in Terminator Genesis.
Yes. Was that the one
Yeah.
they were trying to reboot the franchise?
I think it's the one where the robot is like is that the one with Batman in it?
No. Well, is it?
Is it Genesis that's that one?
Oh,
3 is the one with the female liquid metal, but also
Salvation.
metal
Yeah.
metal. That's Salvation. Salvation was good. I think Genesis was bad.
Yeah.
I believe.
Genesis was not good.
How come I can't remember
Third one.
Batman's name? Help me, guys.
Oh, Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale was in it. Thank you. And
Well,
then
hold
he's
on.
a co-lead, which is weird for Bale, with the other guy who's the Terminator who doesn't know he's a Terminator. Spoiler alert, everybody.
I haven't seen it yet, man.
All right, sorry guys. Sorry
And
guys.
just to say, the real Batman is Michael Keaton. Christian Bale is a fake.
I mean,
We're not gonna get right
Michael
into
Keaton
controversy.
is my Batman, but I'm not. I won't offend Christian Bale fans. He was
I'd just like to
fine.
point out that Michelle Pfeiffer is my Catwoman as well.
Yeah.
But Anne
Zoe
Hathaway is a fine lady.
Zoe Kravitz.
Oh, Lenny Kravitz is my Lenny Kravitz.
One of the things that I've thought about for a long time with shark movies is how close to slasher films they get. And then when you add the element of a guy who's kind of a slasher as your main antagonist, now you've really accomplished it, and Dangerous Animals really does that. But if you think about it, like Jaws predates Halloween, but the beats are very similar. You have the danger lurking. As it gets closer, the score changes. You have like they build a good slasher and a good shark movie build tension the same way.
I completely agree. They're coming out of nowhere. You don't see them creeping
Mhm.
up. A lot of first-person camera work is done in both with the creep up.
That's a big connection
Mhm.
overall. I mean, you can also say that Spielberg also borrowed from like Black Christmas too.
Oh yeah.
But it's like it's an interchangeable thing with, I think, mostly shark movies. Jaws, as we're talking about, being the biggest one, because Spielberg does do that point of view shots. And then when did Jaws come out? 75.
Yeah, 75.
So 3 years later, you see Carpenter doing it all over.
Mhm.
And like you said, there's that connection right
Yeah,
there.
and then
The
like once you get from Jaws to Halloween, it's an easy step to the rest of the slasher genre because of how many of them are just either direct ripoffs of Halloween or, in some way inspired by Halloween.
Yeah.
but it's true. But
So
like,
Halloween is the best shark movie ever made. It's really
Yeah.
what we're getting to.
Yeah, Michael Myers is the best shark ever.
Hollow Shark.
Yeah.
If you elongate the mask a little, Beetlejuice style, it would look like a shark.
It's true. It's true.
No, the parallels are there. It seems like they just took the blueprint and they were like, water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there you have it.
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, Spielberg is sort of ripping himself off with Jaws and those sort of beats because he does that really first in Duel, which is, not quite slasher, definitely not shark, but it's got a lot of the same elements. And, when you have somebody like John Williams scoring so many of your movies, you're always going to have the ability to use music in that kind of suspenseful way.
Good point. I forget how much John Williams has to do with Spielberg's success and Joseph Campbell. We can't forget him. If you guys haven't, we're not going to talk about it on this episode because we'll talk about it for 10 hours. But if you don't know who Joseph Campbell is, look it up. Then look up how much money that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg should give him because, well, he's dead,
Agreed.
but they should give his estate. I don't know. So
Donation.
definitely the slashery. And it doesn't take the movie long to move into the realm of slasher too. John and I both definitely saw it coming when, and Ryan may have thought he was being benevolent. Maybe it surprised you a little bit more, but when he decides to stick hubby and shove him off the boat, that's when the tone shifts, but you knew it was coming and they foreshadow it a little bit when they're in the cage and everything's peaceful and the music is so nice. You're like, oh, something terrible's going to happen.
And you finally get Heather calmed down enough to be enjoying herself. And, they come back up and Bruce Tucker is ready to go.
Yes, sir. It's funny, too, that they build the suspense of you thinking a shark is going to be the thing, and then the dangerous animal turns out to be...
Yep.
A human.
The most dangerous of animals.
The most dangerous game. So,
But he's got an interesting backstory, though, Tucker.
Let's hear it.
Right before, he sends Greg and Heather to Greg to his demise, I should say. Heather, he just throws in the brig. But he got bit by a shark when he was a young kid, and by on the side, and he shows the whole teeth mark, which was cool. I would presume practical effects on there. I hope.
Apparently, reading interviews with director Sean Byrne, 80% of this movie was practical and real sharks, and 20% is CGI stuff.
Boy, are we going to talk about that 20% later on? Oh boy,
the 20% that they should not have included.
So then we segue over to my favorite type of person, a gypsy type of person. This girl from the United States who decided to go to Australia, has a weird van she lives out of, and she's surfing. And that's how she's finding herself or whatever. Nobody really cares. But it was neat. And then she meets a guy, and they make it seem like she doesn't do this kind of thing all the time. And they bump uglies a little bit in the van because that's what you do when you're a surfer.
Yeah. So with Zephyr, I think she's sort of like the neo hippie.
100%.
Yeah.
And Moses, the guy she hooks up with, is rich kid.
Yeah, he's a rich kid, but he also surfs. But he's got everything figured out. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
He
So Moses, when you meet him, feels like he's going to be just such a throwaway character. He's just someone who's going to have a connection to Zephyr, and he's just...
I mean, I would argue he is that. He's fills space that they need to fill. Where's Zephyr?
Yeah.
He gets to run around looking.
Yeah.
And it worked.
But he's the kind of guy you could have offed within 5 minutes of meeting him, and most people wouldn't have ever thought about a lost possibility or what that character could have been. And instead, Sean Byrne leaves him there, and Sean Byrne he doesn't do a lot. he does not work a lot. Dangerous Animals was the first movie in 10 years.
Whoa, he must owe
Wow.
somebody money.
Yeah. And the movie, it's not like the movie before this was like smash hit. He made Devil's Candy, which I've talked to you guys about a bit, which I really, really love. And he also made a movie called The Loved Ones, which I haven't seen, which it sounds like borders more into the torture elements of horror that I'm not super into. But I know it's very
Cool
well
stuff.
loved.
Okay. Little S&M lovers can enjoy that film. I'll read a review and see if it's for me.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
But-
the story itself is pretty interesting, but it definitely goes into a lot of like hostile type of torture stuff that like doesn't. It's not for me.
Nah, I'm good. No hostile.
Understood.
If that's what you like, that's fine. I don't. So
Agreed. Agreed with that. We respect what we respect what you like, bud.
so, Dangerous Animals with its $2 million budget premiered at Cannes.
Really?
That's
Yeah. It's the first Australian movie to do so since 2014. A movie.
Is Con the full name for those listeners who might not know? If they might be thinking you're talking about Comic-Con.
Oh goodness, I don't know the full name of the actual festival, but the South of France Cannes Film Festival. So yeah, to 2014, a movie called These Final Hours premiered there, and until Dangerous Animals, no Australian movie had premiered at Cannes.
Wow.
And it's also, I find this to be maybe even more interesting. It's the first shark movie to ever play at the festival.
I mean, that makes sense. That's kind of niche.
Yeah.
What other shark movie came out besides the one with Blake Lively that nobody saw?
You would think maybe like a documentary or something. You would think premiere at Cannes. They do that sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm not super familiar with like the programming for that festival, but I don't remember ever hearing about a ton of documentaries there.
Like one or a few,
Yeah.
I think. It's not like Sundance level.
Yeah, no.
I think that the fact that this did well at Cannes and the fact that enough buzz was generated about it, I feel like this movie would have been pretty well unspoken of, besides people who enjoy the genre and things like that, 10 years ago. I think it's a great movie. Great might be a strong word. I really enjoyed it though. It's going to be one of those conversations for what it is. It's not trying to be something it's not either. It's very good at what it is. And the fact that people are talking about it brings up the idea to me again that I think the world is a little starved for content. This is a bit of a new idea.
Yeah.
It's not a rehash. It's not a series or whatever, a franchise. And there's not a lot of that out right now.
You need those, like, these movies where it's just like a one and done, because it keeps like people wanting more. They want to see like what's next for the director, what's next in the genre coming out. I feel like sometimes, yes, a franchise can work. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, but there's some cases where they just don't work and everything gets watered down.
Now, yeah, I mean, but even with the franchises you mentioned, they get watered down. Like,
yes,
you go Halloween 1, and then before long you have Thorn Colts and Paul Rudd and like all this other stuff.
Don't mess with my cult.
Yeah.
Don't mess with my cult of the Thorn.
I think it's probably very difficult to keep something like that at a high level.
I believe you can't. Sure. And I don't think that they should destroy good work by being money-hungry whores. We're gonna leave that word in.
Yeah, and if you look at a lot of the franchises you mentioned, they started really well. The first Halloween is a classic. The first couple Friday the 13th are really well-made movies.
Sure.
The Nightmare on Elm Streets are good for about 3 movies, and then they start to. 4's okay. 4's okay, but 4 sort of starts. 4 you see the cracks that are coming. But like,
yes, I agree with that.
You know that it's hard to like when you've created these iconic characters and you have to keep them going that way. you sort of run out of things that you can do with them. And there's only so many babysitters Michael Myers can take out. So one of you guys wanted to ask, what's scarier, being kidnapped or attacked by a shark?
Have we considered land sharks?
Like
What about
Saturday Night
kidnapping
Lights?
land sharks?
Jimmy
Then it's
Buffets.
both. Jimmy Buffets. All right, we're cutting the episode. It's not getting any better than Jimmy Buffets. That's it. All right, so being kidnapped, or is this like when women ask the question, would you rather be stuck with a man or a bear?
I mean,
Yes.
it's kind of, but so I'll throw a little addition into being kidnapped. Being kidnapped by a serial killer, or attacked
Okay.
by sharks.
Okay.
Attacked by sharks.
Why? Why attacked by sharks?
I feel like you can at least there's a chance to escape, right? Maybe there's a boat coming by, jump on the boat, wave down, shoot a flare, all right? If you're kidnapped by a serial killer, bad things, unless you're willing to, maybe take an appendage off to get out of the restraints. I just saw that and I was like, oh. But I wouldn't want to be kidnapped by a serial killer. No. I can just imagine the dungeon, Saw style.
Would you rather be attacked by sharks than get kidnapped by a serial killer?
Yes.
Yes.
It'd be painless, too.
Oh, so in both scenarios, we're done.
Oh yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm figuring out now.
Yeah, that's the question: is how would you rather meet your maker?
I mean, I think ultimately that's really the question we're getting to: is which is your choice? I mean, because I've seen.
I was planning on choosing based on fighting.
Okay, go. You can do that. Yeah, go. Go with that.
You're not gonna win, but you can try. But that's the thing, is that sharks have always terrified me, and the ocean still does too, because you're not in your element. If it was tuned to get you, which it's not, which is even more terrifying to think about, you would have zero shot. Zero shot. There's nothing you can do. But at least if you're kidnapped and there are beats along the way where you might be able to escape or fight back. You've got a chance because you're on, the ground. And there's things that might be in your favor. So I think you have more of a chance against the serial killer person than if you were just being attacked by 6 bull sharks in the middle of the ocean. You're just done.
Fair. I'm gonna say the sharks. I would much rather try to handle the sharks, because I've listened and watched enough true crime, enough serial killer stuff to know how inventive that winds up being. And like, I would much rather take my chance with a couple of sharks than with Dahmer.
Yeah.
That's
a fair point.
I'm not terribly interested in ultimately being a human being's food. And
plus there's shark repellents.
And also, I mean, a lot of the times the shark, it's just, I'm going to come up and take a quick bite because you look like food. And then that's it.
A lot of the times. Do you ever see the dude in Egypt? This was like 2020. That was one of the hardest videos I've ever seen on the internet.
Yeah,
we're talking like faces of death. It was worse than any of those.
That was rough.
That did not go on my radar.
That was you were witnessing.
Oh, you missed that one?
Witnessing a shark actively feeding on a person, like it was intending to eat him, and it did a pretty good job of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was way more off-putting than anything in this movie. I can tell you that much.
It's worse than anything you see in any movie because it's real.
It's real. And also, Brian, if you don't have to watch it, I wouldn't, because it's one of those things that stays with you forever.
I'm shocked that it went over my radar during that time.
Yeah.
Are we talking 2020 COVID time?
I think
like stuck in the house?
Maybe a little. Actually, no, it was a little later, because I remember everybody didn't care because the dude was Russian, and Russia had just invaded Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like one of the dudes who ran away from Russia. Ran away. He was on a vacation in Egypt, but he ran away to not get conscripted. Was the idea?
Mm-hmm.
And he got conscripted by a tiger shark instead.
Mm-hmm. But this also sort of flows into something else I thought we should bring up, and that's how sharks have become vilified in movies and pop culture, and really sort of unintentionally goes back to Jaws.
Yes,
Is that
it
the
does.
first example of a mainstream movie, where the shark is used as the scary thing?
Pretty much.
I believe so,
Like
yes.
Yeah, must be right.
I mean, there has to have been sharks in movies before that, but like Jaws is the big scary. And Jaws is so I found this quote from a Dr. Chris Pepinneff. Um
Epinephrine?
yeah, is about what he called the Jaws effect.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. And it's the fear was so intense that shark hunting became common. Like people watch Jaws,
Yeah.
and now it's because Jaws portrays the shark as just a mindless killing machine that's going to eat people, which is ultimately not the reality. Like sharks, most sharks are not actively hunting people. If most shark attacks are, they mistook you for something that is actually their food.
Which they depict pretty well in the movie as well,
Mm-hmm.
with the chum and stuff. Like, the
Yeah.
chum lures them in,
And
and they're confused with it, but staying still and all that. It's very similar to, like, a bear, I feel.
yeah, and
They do that quick attack, and then they leave too in the movie, for the most part.
Mhm. And
They did that well.
And that's something that Byrne really wanted to focus on with this too, is like he makes a point of in interviews talking about how the shark attacks are a result of human manipulation. That the
Yeah.
sharks are not he wanted to show them as majestic, as like these beautiful creatures of the ocean that they're just doing what sharks do.
Right.
It's just
And, as a result, like, I mean, I found a report on endangered animals. Many as 1/3 of shark species are endangered. And a lot of that, like, you get the usual climate change issues and stuff involved in that. But from like the release of Jaws up until pretty recently, you had sport fishing, you had mass hunting of sharks because of that fear.
Don't forget about shark fin soup too, where they
Mhm.
just grab them, they
Mhm.
cut the fin off, and then they throw the rest of the shark right back in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no good.
no.
No good. Now that you bummed
Sure.
us out, John, do we have a game this week?
Of course we do.
It's game
Of
time,
course
baby.
there's a game. So it's our standard slasher stash. I'm not gonna make it a guess, because if you both don't have it from the first movie, I don't know what we're doing here.
Is it sharks?
Of course it's sharks. And there's number one. It's Jaws 2. Are we stashing or slashing Jaws 2?
What do you think, Ryan?
Slash.
You
It's not Jaws 1. It's not Jaws
not.
1.
But for a sequel, it holds up pretty well as they go. I mean, we're not going to talk about Jaws 3 right now.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Maybe not
Jaws
yet.
2's got a
Jaws
pretty
3.
good beat system. Spielberg didn't do Jaws 2, did he?
No,
No, you can't really
didn't.
tell. Oh, did he?
I would say no, he didn't do
Oh,
it.
he didn't.
No,
I mean,
he
they
didn't do
just
this.
they did a pretty good job. The tethering of the boats together at the end with all the kids trying to stay, and the way the chief gets his victory in this one, pretty solid all around. I'm trying to remember what the
Deep
first
Blue
attack was
Sea is
like.
gonna be on this. Wait, is Deep Blue Sea a shark fin?
His hat is like a shark fin, Ryan.
Yeah, deepest, bluest.
Deep Blue Sea.
I'm gonna stash it. I know I shouldn't, but I'm gonna stash Jaws 2. I really like Jaws 2. I don't care what you people say.
We're not shaming you.
You are with your
No,
eyes.
We're with you.
I
We're with you.
I can find things to love about all 4 Jaws movies.
I love Jaws 4.
Even 4, as bad as 4 is, I still love that movie. All right,
The accents.
number 2. we get The Reef.
Ooh, this is good. It's the one they could become stranded, right?
There's a few
Or
of
am I thinking
those.
of a different route?
There's a few of
Yeah.
those, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, generally, you're with the shark movies, stranded is a very common alternate theme. So how do we feel about The Reef?
I'm slashing it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna go with.
fine. I like The Reef, but it's no Jaws 2.
I'll slash it too.
All right.
I think I'm confusing it with another film because I'm looking at the cover, but I've heard good things about The Reef.
All right. Number 3, we get Bait.
I've never seen Bait. I just love his facial expression.
I really enjoyed Bait. And Bait has the kind of goofiness that Crawl has with, the killer animals being washed in on the storm. And it's very similar to the new Netflix movie Thrash in that regard.
Okay. I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna slash it. But
I'm with you on that. I haven't seen this. This is too new
the
for
fact
me.
that John takes meticulous notes on what we do with this is freaking me out. Because I feel like all of this is gonna come back to bite us years down the line.
It's a Xenomania psychologist
many
right
notes.
now.
Yeah. So many notes.
Tell me how you feel.
I have
about this
them
movie.
all.
It's crazy. We gotta put it. Don't digitize that. Actually,
We'll autograph it.
It's for the board game home edition.
nice.
Ooh. Nice.
All right. Movie number 4. 47 meters down.
Mandy Moore.
Yep.
This was a remarkably forgettable movie too.
I remember watching it once, and that was it.
I was kind of surprised by this because I like 47 meters down more than I expected to.
Yeah, but it wasn't terrible.
No.
It wasn't like that Jessica Alba, Paul Walker movie. Terrible. The hell was that one called? Yeah, I'm like
Gold Rush.
Shallows? Was that the Shallows?
No, that was
Shallow.
like Deep Blue or something. Some
Oh
stupid name.
yeah.
Like Blue Crush or some stupid name.
It was Blue
Yes.
Crush. I'm pretty sure it was Blue
Blue
Crush.
Crush.
I think that was the worst movie ever made.
Worse
I
than
gotta
Jiggly?
slash this too, man. I'm sorry, 47 meters down. I gotta do it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as memorable seeing it once, so I'm slashing it as well.
All right.
I remember the poster.
Right. Ryan, you're heading into a spot where you're going to be stashing a lot of stuff.
I'm fine with it.
All right. Next movie.
Oh yeah,
The Meg.
I'll stash.
This movie's
I'll
so
stash the
bad.
Meg.
It's so
So-
bad.
It's Jason Statham, so good though.
Yeah.
All right.
This is definitely a so bad it's good for me. Like, I've watched this way more times than I care to admit to.
I love when it just unleashes on the tourists, and
Uh-huh.
it's like time for the Meg to go. I didn't see the sequel though.
It's not good. They introduced
No.
some land creatures.
Oh,
It's
boo.
a mess. I think I only watched the second one once, but this one I've a bunch of
I'm gonna
times.
have to watch the Meg again tonight. I'm gonna slash the Meg too. I know. I enjoyed it. I did, but it's a B movie. I don't know what you got coming up. I know there's some good movies with sharks in them.
Mhm. But did
I'm
I
waiting
put
for
them on
Jaws.
here?
That's my real
So-
concern. Yeah.
So let me ask you: have I ever doubled up on a franchise in one of these games?
Never.
No, you haven't. Gee Willikers.
And you might be.
I'm not
waiting
worried
for
about missing Jaws.
You might be waiting for something that doesn't come.
It's true.
Next, Deep Blue
Yeah,
Sea.
stash.
I gotta stash it.
Stash.
Gotta stash it. That's what I've been waiting for, baby. This cover is enough reason to stash it.
Good.
I love this stupid movie so much.
It's so bad. It's so good, but it's so
When did it
bad.
come out? 98?
The cojones to take out Samuel L. Jackson too. Epic.
Right after that speech about pulling it together and surviving and getting out of here and
Think water's fast. Try
Jump.
ice.
jump.
I saw this movie in the theaters.
I was saying it
Yeah,
came
I
out in
did too.
'98, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
Like the summer, because it was a big promotional
Mhm.
thing.
I feel like
I
it
feel
was an
like-
August release, but I'm not. I don't know that for sure.
One more stash left. How many movies do we have left?
2, and you both have 1 and 1. Here is your penultimate open water.
Oh, this is the one I was thinking about. Yeah, Stash. This is a good movie.
This is a hard one to watch.
It's so good though.
Meaning,
Yeah.
forget
it's good. Yeah, it's not like bad. I don't mean that. I mean it's a hard movie to watch.
they forget them, right? This is the one they forget them in the water,
Yep.
and they have to camp. Yeah,
Yep.
And
I
you,
saw
you're
this.
expecting them to have some sort of a chance, and that's not a thing.
Yep.
I think I saw this in theaters.
This plays on what is the type of phobia when of open water, deep things. It plays on that fear a lot too. When you're just out there, if you're just out there floating, I mean, dude, what a horrible, horrible way to go.
Yeah. And to go back to our opener, that's basically what that story is from Jaws, where Quentin is talking about the USS Indianapolis and all those guys that went into the water. They were
They're
just
waiting.
there. Yeah. That's a messed up story, by the way. The whole U.S. Indianapolis thing is just a messed up story. Forgetting the sharks.
Yeah, the sharks are bad, but everything about delivering a little boy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, once those guys were torpedoed, it didn't matter if there were sharks or not. They were doomed because no one knew where they were.
So John's alluding to, listeners at home, is the USS Indianapolis. If you watch Jaws, you might remember, delivered the first nuke to the airstrip where it was going to be fitted into the Enola Gay and then dropped on Japan, Hiroshima, I believe. And then the ship it was a super secret mission, so nobody knew where the ship was.
Yeah.
And a Japanese sub sank it, and then we're just there. How many days?
Oh, a lot.
More than one. It was more than one.
Yeah, like long enough that you started getting all those like stranded at sea problems, the consuming saltwater, delirium, the freezing, hypothermia. It's like you get that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So
moving on. Oh, I'm slashing open water because it makes me sad. I'm gonna roll the dice and see what you got up last.
All right. So Ryan is slashing this one, and Kern's you're stashing it, and one of you.
What is it?
I slashed it.
No, you're slashing this, but you have one stash left. Ryan has a slash left. One of you's gonna be pretty disappointed, I think. There it is.
I knew it, you bastard.
There it is.
I knew it. I'm so happy. Ryan, he screwed you so hard.
Oh, he did.
How does it make
did
you
I
feel?
Did I ever double up on franchises before? Right? No, he made a good point.
I hadn't. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about including Jaws here. I was going to not include Jaws and go on the belief that you would expect Jaws to be the last one and make the last one Shark Tale. So one of you would have had to stash Shark
said
Tale.
A long time ago you had to make it horror related, though.
I did, yeah.
That would have been.
But even that wasn't the reason I didn't do that. It was because I had the intro written out and I didn't want to have to change it.
Fair. It's a fair point.
You know what? I'm still fine with my picks.
You slashed Jaws. You can't be that fine with your picks.
You know what though? I didn't slash The Thing, so I am fine with that.
Why you gotta put it on me, buddy?
We're the only ones playing the game.
This is about your failures. This is about your failure.
Here's the problem with how you did this, how you played this out. none of the movies that you stashed exist anymore because you got rid of Jaws.
Can we rewind? Please,
You
please
you
be kind and
you
rewind. All right.
in Ryan World, there are no more shark movies.
I have still Cocaine Bear, Grizzly.
No, you probably don't, because those are
Those
all
are
from the
bear movies.
sharks too, but they're all based on the shark movies.
I,
I'll let you keep Cocaine Bear.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, what
Because
a
that because
benevolent guy.
that's based on a true story.
Well, he made malevolent choices, so he has to be benevolent, which I appreciate. Thank you. I get Ray Liotta in his last acting career, which he plays a villain. And I have to ask, because I'm curious, do you think Jay Courtney's character, Tucker, is worth the recognition to be considered a great horror villain for his one appearance?
He does a really good job in this role.
It's gonna be a memorable
open up.
antagonist. Like, he is. The character itself could have just sort of been kind of a nothing, because it could be very easily in an untalented actor's hands, just be kind of like a character you've seen a lot. But there's something about the way Jay Courtney does it that's like, oh, all right, this is somebody who's gonna stick with me. I'm gonna remember this killer.
It's his mannerisms, the facial expressions, like I mentioned earlier.
He
But
just
that
crushes.
the dancing, come on now.
Yeah,
That's a
they
crushing.
pulled a little bit from Silence of the Lambs on that one, and it was fine. The way they did it too, it was good. But you had to get him weird. You had to make sure that he was a sociopath, and that did the trick.
Yeah.
Well, the obsession too with the VHS tapes, and it has to be an old school RCA. Those tapes gave me some flashbacks.
Those are like sequence killer sort of things. When they, if you ever watch Mindhunters, they go through all of their rituals and stuff. They pretty much stuck to that formula to a T in this movie. Like, he's got his trophies, he's got his stuff. Dexter season 7 or whatever it's gonna be.
There's so many layers, which, like, would you accept a prequel of Dangerous Animals?
No, this is fine.
With Jake Courtney?
Yeah,
It's not worth it, to be honest. It's a good movie, but it's not worth it.
I don't think you need to expand this universe. I think they told a story that was really well told. It was an interesting enough story as a whole. I don't need anything added to it.
Not like a backstory with like Jay Courtney.
No,
Just
because
to see his character develop.
I mean,
hopefully maybe he plays another good role.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jay Courtney again. I feel like sometimes with that stuff they take away some of what made the character good. Like, it's the kind of character they developed enough. I don't need to know how he became this kind of serial killer, because generally it's my mommy wasn't nice to me. It's stuff like that. That always sort of, like, if you, like I mentioned earlier, I listen to a lot of true crime stuff. That always sort of takes me out of the serial killer stories, is like how whiny they are. And people didn't like me in school. Quiet. Mommy wasn't nice to me. Like stuff like that. It's like, God.
He's breaking out. He's the thing.
I get it, though. And I think John's right. There's too much to lose and not enough to gain by expanding this.
Yeah, we have a good story here. I don't think we need more. All right. So, listen, we get towards the end, and Zephyr realizes her time is running out. It's not long before Tucker's going to make her shark food. Or Moses, who's, pretty messed up at this point and fading too. So how far would you go to escape? Because we know how far Zephyr is going to go.
Would you full on? Are you going to James Franco yourself to get out of there?
When I saw her do what she was doing, I was like, no, you're not biting your thumb off. No.
So
no. And then
I mean, it's not you. That part is sort of like, all right, well, I mean, you've gone that far. You might as well go the rest of the way. But it's the act of taking her thumb and snapping it back. Just like that.
That was bad.
Yeah, dude.
And then
Oh,
I feel it.
and then to do that and have the cuffs not fit over it still.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that
pretty
sucked.
heartbreaking.
And I mean, from there, like you've already ruined your thumb. You might as well go the next step.
You could that would
Yes.
heal eventually. The chewing it
Eventually.
I
off
mean,
is next level.
it would heal, but how much would it heal? And like, I mean, you're
You'd have a
done
thumb.
anyway.
You'd have a thumb.
You're done
I've-
anyway. But you're gonna have
Yeah,
a
it's
thumb that
dicey.
like hangs like that all the time. Like it's like down here while the rest of your hand is up. Like you wave like this now.
For those listening, the visual is epic right now.
What's
Yeah,
dangling?
like
The
I
thumb.
mean, like my
Dangly
thumb
thumb.
kind
Yeah,
of
he's
does
like
that
triple
anyway.
jointed. Yeah, I was gonna
So,
say you've got kind of a thing going on as
yeah,
it is.
like
Ooh.
I have the hitchhiker's thumb and all that. So,
I'm just thinking of the thumb getting bit off now, man.
oh yeah,
Getting the
but
jitters.
like for me, I feel like you guys were more disturbed by the chewing it off afterwards.
Yes,
For
very
me,
much so.
Yes.
For me, it was
was-
it's the first shock of just that she's like,
Well,
I'll
self-mutilation
say
isn't very fun and for me in general in these
Mhm.
movies, as you well know.
Mhm.
So this was a tough scene.
this was worse than Bring Her Back. This
No,
was
it wasn't.
worse in my opinion. Oh God,
I don't
yes.
know about that.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know about
Yes.
that.
Every
but-
time you reference Bring Her Back, you're wrong, by the way, just so you know. Doesn't matter what you're talking about, it's just by default you're wrong.
I'll take the table scene over that any day. The knife scene over that
No
any day.
way.
No,
No
Oh
way.
yes. Yes.
No way.
I'm,
That
I'm,
is a hard scene.
I'll get with you on a lot of Bring Her Back stuff. I
The CGI, you
can't
know
on
that's
this
not
one.
happening. This can happen, right? This can really happen. So you get that visual.
That can happen too.
A dynamic
get it.
demonic kid in the
No,
kitchen.
Just
What are you talking?
a scene of a child chewing on cutlery was brutal.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
weren't properly
and
watched.
it's the child aspect.
That
this
also
is,
makes
this
it
is a
pretty bad.
this is a full grown woman doing this. So it's not, and I mean,
It was already had carnal relations, so she could die at any moment.
mhm.
That's allowed by the rules.
But the thing
True.
I like about that scene is that it's reminiscent of the end of Saw, but it goes that
Oh,
step
oh,
further.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it
Like,
does.
it's not like
Jesus.
it's not like all right, he's sawing his foot off and that's it. You get a good extended bit of her gnawing on herself.
It takes a minute, and it reminds me of Gerald's Game, which is a good thing to bring up. You guys remember how she gets out of the cuffs in Gerald's Game?
It's been a minute.
I'm
trying to remember.
I'm trying to figure out how to word this so this episode doesn't get completely freaking blacklisted.
She
Slices and
Right.
uses the blood as lubricant to help slip
Yes.
it off. It's not quite as bad as it could get, which is
Mhm.
the worst case scenario. I think is when you get what's the term, Ryan? When you
glove.
yes.
Yes.
Would that be
I'm
worse?
just I don't know. Degloving is horrible. I mean, it kind of like just the action of it and just yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not really keen on this talk because I see it
You
visually.
can go
All
on
I see-
YouTube right now and watch like a whole collection of videos on it. Been down that
Already
rabbit hole
on it.
before. Been down that rabbit hole before, buddy. And it's mostly industrial machines and stuff.
Yes.
Whoa.
I mean,
It is pretty brutal. What's worse, biting off the thumb or if she degloved herself?
degloving because like when you're my mom used to work for a company and they used to handle like a lot of heavy
They're gonna
machinery.
sue us now, just so you know.
But they'll be like, right, we know this guy. They'll be like, right, more. I remember him running amok. Well,
By the way,
I
you've
used
been
to be-
served, and I'll hand you the envelope.
well, I was downstairs in the warehouse and I'd investigate the machines and stuff, and I get the tour and understanding of how to make like because they used to do like the sheets for marbles. They put the marbles and like you get dressed behind one of those. I'm trying to figure out the word like a curtain. What was like the fold out curtains?
Okay.
But to see how the machines would work to make the marbles, the fire, and stuff. If you made one mistake, it was wraps. And there were some accidents. Not when I was there, but there was, and it's not a fun process. Not
Those
fun.
things will
That's
do it.
why.
Those things will do it. I don't know. It's so real. Just quick roll call. A, B, or C. Basically, would you be able to do either of those things to escape to yourself? Would
chew
you?
your thumb off or deglove?
Mhm.
No, I'm gonna fight him. He'll come back. I'll.
He's gonna hit you
But
with the shot. You're gonna wake up in
yeah,
the
I mean,
water.
you're at such a significant disadvantage if you're in those cuffs.
He's not a small guy either.
Yeah.
Ready. Ready, Captain Boomerang.
All right, so Ryan's choosing death.
Yes.
Listen, I'll give it the same answer I give any of these things. I have 2 thumbs. I can lose one.
All right, so John's gonna try to get out, and I honestly don't know until I'm there. To be honest with you, I got a lot to live for right now, so I'd probably chew off my thumb if we're being real.
I just legitimately don't know if I actually could.
That's the thing, is stopping yourself. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
that would be my choice. I would definitely try to get out that way if there's nothing else. I just don't know if I could. I don't know if I could first snap it and then, go the next step of just gnawing through my body part.
Oh, dude, Ryan in Berserk. Remember when Guts has his arm stuck in the demon's mouth and he's trying to get to
Yes.
Casca to stop the bad thing from happening that we definitely can't talk about?
Yes.
And he takes he takes a broken sword and does the thing, and that's how he gets out.
That's
But
not
that's guts,
that's
though.
not bad.
That's
That's not as
guts.
bad. I can look at that
Bro.
visual and be like, okay,
Bro, that
this
was
is
pretty
like
bad.
you hear her chomping, you hear her going through the bone.
Well, if
and
they
I
did it
appreciate
right,
that.
you'd hear that too.
Well,
Visceral.
They
Visceral.
didn't. Did they do that in the anime?
No. Oh no, in the
They did do
in the
that.
Golden Age arc they do.
They did, right?
Absolutely,
They did
yeah,
do
they did it
that.
right.
Yes.
It was very well done. But yeah, anyway, chances are all 3 of us would meet our makers after that, I'm sure. But we try.
Absolutely. I'm also not the fighter that Zephyr is, because that's really just the first step, because free from the cuffs, she's still in the middle of the ocean on a boat with a guy who is much larger, much stronger, and pretty hostile.
Done this. Yeah, he's done this before.
Yeah.
And he tees her up as a fighter. You're a fighter.
Yeah.
Tells her the whole movie,
Yeah.
so we know something big's coming from her.
Yeah, you and I are very alike, that whole
Yeah,
routine.
We're alphas or whatever he calls them. He doesn't say that. That would have been lame, but
He's trying to turn her.
Mm-hmm.
She just
I was waiting for him to invite her to join him, and he never did. He's too in love with the game, I think.
Yeah.
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 He's too focused.
Yeah.
It's a one-man show type deal. But that's another thing. Q Mindhunters it's always a one-man show.
True.
The attention always on.
usually
Yeah,
on
I
them.
mean, the tag team serial killers are few.
Yes.
All right.
Except for Scream.
Yeah, I mean, movies less rare. But in real life, there's not that many examples of them.
Fair.
So
Fair on that.
we get to the end, and Zephyr is attempting her escape, and we get to the CGI moment that you guys wanted to bring up.
I texted it
Sharknado?
immediately. As soon as it happened, I texted that we had to talk about this. What a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what a terrible, it's almost intentionally terrible what they do at
Yeah.
the end.
20%.
The actual motion of a great white leaping out of the water after breaching, and like as it grabs a seal, that's all like well and good. But why did they make it so bad? It looked the water. Look, I rewatched it like 4 times. The water looked terrible.
Yeah,
It's like a cutout shark.
It's really the one misstep. Like, I saw people complain about the scene where she's underwater and face to face with the great white. and it just
That's
sort of it
that's
ignores her, like,
That was
he
better.
well, that they were
he
doing with the eye contact. She maintained
yeah,
eye contact.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Byrne talked about that somewhere about how it's like the two scarred creatures recognizing one another, and, he
That
he
Oh,
he
that's
makes
pretty
he
deep. I
makes
didn't
it
get that.
more he makes it a in his mind, it's a deeper moment than what you maybe pick up.
Okay. Yeah,
I like
a
that
bit of a
though.
miss on his part as far as conveying that, but I dig it.
Mhm,
I dig the concept for
mhm,
sure. I just thought it was just the usual when look at a shark, it doesn't see you as prey. If you're looking at it in the
mhm,
eyes as it's coming to you, and it gives you a chance to push it off, or it'll
mhm.
turn. And I've seen, Shark Week. You've all seen Shark Week. They do that all the time. So I thought that's what that was about. The CGI though, I enjoyed watching the fake shark swim away, like a la Jaws style, way more than I
Mhm.
enjoyed the way they ended it. That climax was horrific to the point where I
It
was
just
laughing.
it was just initiated poorly. I feel like if they put a little more effort, a little more money into it,
That's the thing they
they would have
needed.
nailed it.
They
But
needed
it
more
was like
money. You could have done
I
that
feel
with AI better than
Mhm.
that looks in that scene.
yes. I feel like though, again, like John said, it's like a deeper movie. I feel like he throws in
We're not
scenes that are
talking about
deeper.
any of that right now. We're just
Oh,
talking
well,
about
I'm
how
just
horrible that CGI scene was in this movie
it
that was
is.
very
Mhm.
good. And then
Mhm.
you get to like oh my God, is this the Sci-Fi Channel? Why did that happen?
Well,
I
I mean,
did.
also, again, having watched, Devil's Candy and knowing about the loved ones, I don't think Byrne has really used a lot of CGI in the first place. Like,
Mhm.
Devil's Candy is not an effects-laden movie.
They should stick with that or get a better dude.
Mhm. I mean,
Just
Ron's
stick
not
with
cutting it.
practical effects.
probably starts with budget. I mean, $2
It's
million
it
dollars, $2
starts
million
and ends
dollars
with it.
doesn't go where $600,000 went for Romero in 78,
There.
Fair point.
Around that.
Fair point. But yeah, it was a gripe. It's not so much a gripe as it is a bit of a stain on a pretty good picture.
Mhm.
But it's a
Yeah,
talking point.
it's a
Yes, it
moment
is.
that takes you out of it. So before we go into what we think about dangerous animals, let's hear about how some other people think of it.
Oh yeah.
So we have an 87% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a
Pretty good.
74% audience score. So
Also pretty good. It's about right.
pretty well liked. Yeah. I think we'll, a little bit of a spoiler when we do the reviews. I bet we're all gonna fall in that general range. So 5 stars. Love shark thrillers, and this is an insane twist on what we're used to seeing. Refreshing, terrifying, absolute must see. Shark emoji.
I agree with why they liked it. It's a
Mhm.
nice twist. And
Mhm.
I don't know if I find this movie terrifying per se. There's tension.
It's
Yes.
I think I found it more uncomfortable than terrifying. But I mean,
This is the baby shark.
it that
It
that
does
part
sing
is
Baby Shark.
and his rendition of Baby Shark is kind of creepy. Like
Mhm.
it's not like the upbeat, like
No.
it's the
Yeah.
creepy serial killer guy singing Baby Shark. Yeah, I mean yeah, I would agree with most of that. The number's too high for me, but otherwise I think that's a pretty accurate review. And then we have this one. 1 star. Worst horror ever. Guessed the ending 100%. And the whole movie is full of futile struggles that just make you very uncomfortable. Don't watch it.
That is the thing in this. There's a lot of L's that get delivered to the heroine
Uh-huh.
throughout the movie, and it doesn't necessarily build in the way where you're supposed to like feel despair for her or anything.
Mhm.
You're constantly aware that it's building up to her getting out. You don't
Yeah.
think she's ever not
Yeah.
gonna get out.
Yeah. I
So
mean, yeah. And, guessing the ending of this movie is like, you didn't guess the end of Citizen Kane, bud.
Yeah.
You get it's a aside from Moses not being done at the end of the movie,
which was
There's really
surprising.
nothing terribly twisty about it. The heroine is going to overcome the serial killer somehow,
Mhm.
most likely by getting a shark to eat him. Like, you know how that's gonna go.
Mhm.
It's very straightforward.
Yeah. And then you have the half star. And
Oh, no.
I don't know what movie this half star person watched, but it was not Dangerous Animals. Overrated Hollywood slop.
That's it? Oh, okay.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Progressive themes as usual with the lamest characters other than the antagonist, but the message is same old blathering.
What's
Blathering.
the message?
I have no idea. First off, this isn't a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, it's an independent
This
film.
is this is an independent Australian production. I don't even think it's what would be the equivalent of an Australian Hollywood. This is some dude on a boat with some cameras, like they first off. Second off, if you're looking for and finding progressive or conservative themes in Dangerous Animals, you're doing too much.
They're
Because
not
it's
there. They're just
not
not there.
there. It's like, what's that the woman survives and overcomes? Like, so is Halloween progressive by that
There's no agenda.
standpoint?
There's no LGBTQ
No,
aspect to it. There's
there
nothing
is
in it.
there is nothing that these
There's a
people.
hobo.
Yeah,
It's the hobo guy on the docks.
yeah. Like,
A
there's
helpful
nothing.
hobo.
There's
Exactly.
I mean, a hobo who wants to help.
Yeah, there you go.
His actual ability to be helpful is very questionable.
Well, yeah.
But I'm
But
with you, man. This is dumb.
I don't see any of that. I don't see what the message that's the same old blathering is. I don't like to listen. You cannot
It's
like
rage bait.
Dangerous Animals. There's gonna be people who didn't like Dangerous Animals. That's fine. I liked it a lot. I believe it was in my top 5 for last year. I don't know that it stays in there. Now that I've seen where they were going with 28 years later, I think that probably knocks it out. But it's still
Okay.
within my top 10 from last year. It's But to say it's a half star for those reasons just doesn't work for me.
No.
It's rage bait. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
I
It's just simple
yeah.
rage bait.
I think it's the
And the
person that
thing
spends
is,
too much time on Reddit.
Yeah.
and people want. I feel like we get into those like A24 horror films, or even like what Blumhouse tries to do, where every horror film has to have that deep meaning. It doesn't.
Oh,
It can just be a
no,
simple story that's
it's
fun to watch.
it's fine, and that's what this was, and that's why I'm gonna, I'll go first with my rating. I'm gonna say
Well,
Dangerous Animals is a 4.
Oh,
oh,
You you
okay.
you could talk me up even a little bit to a 4.25 maybe, but a 4. This is a 4 for me. It hits what I wanted it to hit in a shark movie, and it hits what I wanted it to hit in a serial killer movie in the same place. So I'm cool with it.
Curves.
went way higher than I thought it was gonna go. I was gonna give it a 3.25 because
Oh,
that's not a
okay.
terrible score. It's not a terrible score.
No, it's
It
above
because
average.
it's for the same reasons. It does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't. I tend to gravitate and love movies that have a deeper message and stuff. The fact
Mhm.
that this doesn't have it doesn't mean I don't think it's a great movie or a good movie. It's just that it doesn't go. It never elevates itself to another level because that's not what its purpose is. I enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed seeing them do a little bit more with the sharks as far
Mhm.
as when they're dunking and things like that. But I don't think I would even qualify these as missed opportunities. This is just like it's teed up to be a line drive to left center, not a home
Mhm.
run. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's a good movie. 3.25 might be too low though, because you're making me feel bad. 3.5, 3.5,
Okay.
3.5.
I'm gonna raise you, Alex, and I'm gonna go 3.75.
Mhm.
It hits everything I would expect. What I was expecting. The thumb biting and almost degloving was like what are we doing right now? And I cringed, and I haven't cringed with a horror movie in a while, and it was bad. I was just like, damn, no, I can't. This is horrible. You hear the crunching, but it hits every point. It was an interesting perspective to see the serial killer slasher motive now mixed with like sharks and animals and them uniting that idea, as we were talking about earlier, and making it more to the foreground. It's a nice change, but they still follow the same beats that we're all used to, and that's what makes it work. It's a fun film, and it's people thinking about messages and deeper meanings, what the director wants to do. Just go sit down and watch it with a bowl of popcorn and enjoy it.
Mhm. Yeah. This is a fun hour-and-a-half popcorn movie.
Yes. People need to understand, get a bowl of popcorn and enjoy movies, just like our top fives that we're going to be discussing tonight. And I'm going to start off my top five. I was talking to John about this earlier, and we're trying to figure it out, but I'm going with top five benevolent characters who are truly malevolent. I got it
Wonder he
right.
said them.
Okay.
No wonder he said it 7 times tonight.
Uh,
He's been waiting.
Foreshadowing. And I'm going to start off, John, a couple weeks ago, you mentioned a film that you haven't seen and it's on your list. And I haven't done it in a while because I've been staying away from films I haven't seen. But this one I do want to mention, and it's my top five, number five, I'm sorry. And that's Heretic. This has been on my list for a while. It's about two young Mormon missionaries who visit the home of this eccentric man, played by Hugh Grant, after he expresses interest in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, only for his true intentions to quickly become clear. Just how the trailer depicts him, he's very benevolent, and then as the trailer continues, you see him turn. I've heard a lot of great things about it. I've heard Hugh Grant is amazing. I was hesitant with the film because I kept thinking about Martyrs, and I was like, how far are we going to go with like torture or blood? And it's not about that. It's more psychological from what I've read. So
It's
got
really good.
You've seen it. Okay.
Yes, it's really good. And it is more psychological.
I feel like I mean, you can agree with me from what or disagree, is that I feel like he is benevolent in the beginning. He's very welcoming. He gives tea. He's very like intrigued, but there's more to the sinister plot as it comes out, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin the ending for you, so I'm not going to tell you what his whole motive is and stuff, but it's cool. It's what his angle is cool.
Yeah. And it's Hugh Grant, so he automatically looks safe.
Yes. Well, Hugh Grant from Bridget Jones' Diary, I think is a different story.
I mean,
he's always looked like the guy you wouldn't mind running into in an alley.
Yeah. For Hugh Grant, it's always been more the personality of the characters than the look. Like the personality has always been like the cad, but he always looks like he's a safe guy.
Fair.
All right.
Fair. And that connects to my number 4. It's about two strangers who meet on a train. One of whom is a psychopath who suggests they exchange murders so that neither will be caught. And that is 1951's Strangers on a Train. It's a lot of people consider it a psychological thriller. I consider it more of a horror and psychological, something very early for Alfred Hitchcock. It's just so good. You get two strangers who meet, Guy Haynes and Bruno. And when Bruno and Guy meet, Bruno's very benevolent, and he comes up with the idea. And Guy's like, "Oh, it's just a joke." And then Bruno kills his wife, and Guy's like, "No, this is not a joke." But how he acts, it's very friendly. And then as the movie continues, you see the cord snap, you see the madness in Bruno grow, and he becomes insane. And it's just such a good build. If you've never seen it, it's such a good film. Strangers on a Train, 1951. Get through the black and white. And that leads to number 3. It's really more of an anthology, and we're going with Trick or Treat. And you got to ask, who's benevolent in the movie? Who's malevolent? And no, it's not the teacher. It's not him. It's Sam. Sam is a very benevolent character throughout the whole movie. He's the mascot. He's great. The only time he's malevolent is when you take down the decorations before Halloween ends. Just don't do that. Don't disgrace Halloween. Don't throw pumpkins on the ground, and you'll be fine. This is the one character I can say out of this whole list that I really truly love and respect in that whole situation. Don't mess with him. Sam's a great character too, which leads to number 2. I mentioned it earlier, and that's Wolf Creek. Concerns 3 backpackers who find themselves taken captive and subsequently hunted by Mick Taylor, a serial killer in the Australian outback. Again, watching Dangerous Animals, I kept thinking of Wolf Creek, the benevolent of Tucker in the beginning. I kept thinking of Mick Taylor because that's how he was in Wolf Creek. You know, you guys are lost. I'm going to take you to my compound. I'll fix your car. And then all hell breaks loose. And it's like Tucker, who's like, yeah, come on my boat. It's a tourist boat. I get good reviews. And then Greg gets, he gets thrown off. And then poor Heather is just like captive. And it's similar in that Wolf Creek version. But Wolf Creek had many sequels and shows, while we're not going to get that with Dangerous Animals, thank God.
I believe Wolf Creek is based on a true story.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
2001 and in the 1990s. The one in the 1990s was Ivan Milat, and then in 2001 it was Bradley Murdoch. I think I don't know if they caught. I think they caught them. Caught whoever did it.
I believe they did.
Yeah. But it was like, I feel the two at the time. You get 2005, you get Wolf Creek, and also at the time you get Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake. So like the idea of like not found, like you can say found footage, but like more of like what was happening in the past, like the true story was becoming more in the open. And that definitely connects with my number 1 because, I mean, the most benevolent character you can have who turns malevolent is Norman Bates, and we're going Psycho. 2 Alfred Hitchcock films in one night. Let's go. Psycho focuses on an encounter between on-the-run embezzler Marion Crane, shy motel proprietor Norman Bates, and his disturbed mother. As a private investigator, Marion's lover Sam Loomis and her sister Lila investigate her disappearance. As we all know, shower, catch up, all that good stuff. But Norman's just, I feel like he's so misunderstanding.
He's a good boy.
He is a good boy. And that's my top 5.
Hooray.
Watch the movie too, Good Boy, and our podcast episode.
Do it.
All right. Name dropping more.
So I went a different way, not necessarily an unpredictable way with mine. I went with top 5 or 5 other Australian horror movies.
Nice.
I'm going to start with an honorable mention just because it hasn't come up enough tonight. With Talk to Me, and mainly I'm throwing Talk to Me in as an honorable mention so I can say that it's made by the same fine folks who made Bring Her Back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Talk
Is it
to Me was made by
A24?
them?
I don't believe so.
All right, then I'll watch it.
Talk to Me's okay. Like, Talk to Me's okay.
Blumhouse is more on my list than A24 is.
The one with the hand, right? You
Yeah.
grab the hand and then...
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So my number 5, start the list proper, is a movie called Body Melt.
Nice. Body Melt.
It's exactly what it sounds like. So this has a really nice Vinegar Syndrome release, which I think is out of print. I couldn't find it on their site anymore. And judging by eBay prices, it's probably out of print. The people of Pebbles Court are being used as test subjects for a new body drug. The problem is they don't know. The even bigger problem is the drug causes rapid body decomposition and the skin melting off. And, death.
I'm looking at the poster for the DVD cover. It looks awesome.
So this sort of belongs in a category that people tend to call body melt or just melt. So yeah, there's a few. Street Trash probably belongs in that category. There's a few, the people melting category. My number 4 probably gonna be the best known one on the list. It's the Babadook.
Babadook.
Yeah, written and directed by Jennifer Kent. A mother and her child descend into paranoia when the creepy Mr. Babadook, the character from a kid's book, manifests into the real world. It's a stark look at grieving and, how a family handles that. And it's become an iconic movie in the LGBTQ community. And I mean, for me, 4 is the right spot on any list for it. It doesn't quite connect with me, but it's really well done. My number 3 is a movie that stars Martin Freeman. Not Morgan, Martin. It's a movie called Cargo. It's a zombie apocalypse movie. After being bitten by his zombie wife, Andy must travel the countryside in the hopes of finding someone to take care of his
Yes.
daughter before he turns and makes a meal of her.
I want to see that so badly.
It's pretty
I feel
good.
like it's very,
Yeah.
very like heart-wrenching, I feel.
It's got a lot of that, yeah. Yeah, it's not an easy watch, but it's really good. My number 2, we're gonna go sort of into the vein of Dangerous Animals. We're also gonna go back to the director of Wolf Creek and the Belko Experiment, Greg McLean,
Whoa.
and we're going with Rogue.
Oh.
An American journalist goes on a river tour on a crocodile-infested river in northern Australia. After the first day of the tour is pretty uneventful, the tourists encourage and push the guide, Kate, who's played by Rhoda Mitchell, who was previously talked about in our Silent Hill episode. She's persuaded to go further, and they run afoul of a 25-foot crocodile with a large appetite.
I'll do it. Salties.
Mm-hmm. And my number 1 is one I had almost forgotten about until I started making this list. It's directed by Cameron and Colin Cairns, who went on to do Late Night with the Devil. But this is earlier. It is 100 Bloody Acres.
Cool.
So 2 brothers own an organic fertilizer company with a secret ingredient. They use the bodies of car crash victims. When the supply starts to dry up, the brothers need to come up with a new plan for a supply. And their new plan is much more hands-on than acquiring some people who died on the road.
Interesting.
Right.
That's 5 more Australian movies for you guys.
Hooray. And where can people
That was a good
see those
list.
movies that you listed out?
Oh boy.
Australia.
Australia. I know it's
I
going to be
think
tougher. Right?
I think most of them are floating around, and I know I have physical releases of Rogue, The Babadook, and Body Melt. They've all had physical releases. I'm not Cargo, I think, was on Netflix for a long time.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's
And
still on it.
I'm not sure where you can see 100 Bloody Acres at this point. I believe it was on Shudder at one point.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, that was a good episode on a good movie. Dangerous Manimals.
Manimals?
Manimals.
Manimals. Yeah, I
Animals.
mean, it kind of works.
Animal.
It's the Manimals.
Kind of
Animals.
works, yeah.
Bad guy's the man. Get it? The
I
sharks
get
are the
it.
good guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about it, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
See ya.